Is somebody else letting people in too when it starts?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I had a little message here, and it said either I want to reclaim host or stay as co-host. I did stay as co-host, and it's going to allow me to share once Danny's done, correct?
Yes, that's perfect.
And do you have yours already set to your Irasema?
Yes.
Okay, to where your slide is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do.
Should I let them in now?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right. Welcome everyone who's coming in. We're just gonna give a few minutes to allow people to hop on. Appreciate you taking the time today to be with us. Nisa and Jeanette, you guys have an idea of how many we're sort of expecting, right? So just probably won't wait for everyone, but when we get a good critical mass, we'll get started. Thanks again for those just joining us. We're just waiting a couple of minutes to make sure to give everybody a chance to hop in. If people use technology like me, you always need a little bit of a window to let people mess up first, because that's how I normally do it. How are we doing on numbers, Jeanette or Nisa?
We're good. There's still people coming in the waiting room, slowly but surely.
Okay. I can't see that, so my apologies.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think
Right.
we're good to start.
Okay, great. Thanks everyone for joining us today. This information session on our BIPOC Community Managed Loan Fund. My name is Danny Nee. I'm the Executive Director of Community Investment Corporation. We have a number of our staff here and a number of the people who are in our lending department. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves really quickly. They'll be part of the team that kind of works, that would be working with you throughout the process if you choose to apply here. So Caroline, why don't you start off and then maybe pass it off to the people you want to introduce.
Good afternoon. My name is Caroline Nelson. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Head of Lending here at CIC. Iracema?
Good afternoon. My name is Iracema Bañuelos. I'm the Small Business Lending Manager with CIC. Jeanette?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeanette Gonzalez. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager here at CIC. And I'll pass it to Nisa.
Hey, everybody. My name is Nisa. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications for CIC. Back to you, Danny.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through some of the basics of the BIPOC Community Managed Loan Fund, tell you a little bit about why it exists, what we're trying to do, and then I think most importantly, talk about what these loans actually look like and how to apply to them. It's definitely a little bit different than the lending that's out there in the world right now, or lending that you would see happen at banks. So we'll get started. Quickly about CIC, if you're not familiar with us, Community Investment Corporation, we're a financial empowerment nonprofit. What we really work on is access to the economy for those who, especially for those who have traditionally been left out of our financial institution, by our financial institutions and from our economy. We want everybody to be able to participate fully in the economy. We've been around since 1996, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit doing this work. So just to give you an idea of why it is that we created this, this actually came out of the unfortunate and tragic murder of George Floyd. And what our staff wanted to do was to do something that was within our expertise to address issues of racial and economic injustice. What we looked at is some of the disparities that exist in capital access, so that idea of being able to get financing, especially as it relates to people of color. 85% of entrepreneurs start their businesses with savings, including tapping into the equity of assets such as a home or from funding from friends and family. One of the big problems is that white families' wealth is currently 10 times that of the average Black person family's wealth and 8 times that of Hispanic families. And so it puts BIPOC individuals at a real disadvantage in being able to start and own businesses. There are lots of reasons for those wealth disparities, including racist public policy, as well as business practices that people think happened a long time ago. But really, when we talk about generational wealth, it wasn't that long ago. It's 1 or 2 generations at the most. And so we are here to try to address some of these disparities. 37% of the US population identifies as BIPOC, yet only 17% of businesses are BIPOC owned. BIPOC entrepreneurs are roughly 2 times as likely to be denied credit as white entrepreneurs, and on average receive higher interest rates even when they are approved, 22% higher interest rates. If we go out of the lending sphere and go into investment into startups and new businesses, nationally, white entrepreneurs attract 17 times more equity capital than Black and Hispanic entrepreneurs combined. We have a problem with our system. It is not doing the best, not only for BIPOC individuals, but it is not doing well for our economy as a whole. These disparities cost our economy over $2 trillion and over 6% of GDP. So this is why it is that we started this, and just wanted to give you a little sense of that. One of the biggest things that we're doing is we're changing who it is that decides what loans look like, what the eligibility criteria is, how people apply, what that application process looks like, and also how decisions are made of who gets approved and who doesn't. And how we did that is we basically went and got some BIPOC community members, leaders in our community, to be on a committee. They, for 9 months, meeting every other week, they got together to come up with this product, the way it's structured, the way we're attempting to change the way lending is done, and also to get people like me out of the way. Those CIC does lending, and we do lending. We call it bank light lending. We use a lot of the same financial sort of qualifications. We may have lower thresholds, but it looks a lot like banking. And we're just admitting that we think this is potentially part of the problem. And so we're taking a whole different approach to this. And these are the committee members who, if you apply, they will be reviewing your applications and making all the decisions. CIC, for our part, we simply fundraise for this loan fund, and we also administer it. So we do all the administrative work, all the paperwork, and receiving payments and those types of things. So just to give you a sense of how this is different from a bank. So our unique approach to lending. Storytelling is the center of this application and approval process. Yes, we're going to grab basic business information, demographics, some of the same stuff that you'll see when you apply for a bank. But what is really different is your finances and things like profit and loss statements or balance sheets, or looking at what your assets are, or any of those types of things. None of that is done up front. You are basically going to tell us a story about why it is that you need this loan. There are criteria which will be gone over at the end of this presentation. Irasema will go over that, but really the focus on why is your business going to succeed? How is it going to change the world? How it's going to change your life? What it's going to do for the community. We want to know about your passion. We want to know why it is that that you need this money. What I do want to be upfront about at the very beginning is we have limited resources right now. We started off with a $2,700 donation from our staff. We have leveraged that into over $350,000. We're hoping to get to $1 million someday. Yet it is still limited in the amount that we can give out every month. So while we're doing, we are approving loans every month, we're only approving 3 to 4 loans a month. And Irasema will probably touch on it again. We're getting 15 to 20 applications. So it is a competitive process to do this. We're basically looking for the best businesses, the best stories each month to be able to issue these 0% loans to. This is a revolving loan fund, and why that's important and what we want you to understand is, again, it's limited resources. Paying back the loan is really important to us. We are putting our faith in the people that we give loans to, and we talk about paying it back to pay it forward. The money that you pay back goes back into the loan to help other businesses. So in addition to potentially benefiting from a loan, you immediately become basically a donor back to help the next business in line. The loans are $500 to $10,000 microloans. They are 0% interest. There are no fees. There is no collateral required. So you will not find that out in the marketplace anywhere. This is something we're not asking for personal guarantees or any of those things. This is basically built, again, around your story and on the faith that we have in you to be able to work with us to repay this loan over time and to help your business succeed. The term for the loan will be 1 to 5 years, depending on the loan amount and what your revenues are, but that is not considered at the beginning. Again, it's not considered in your eligibility for the loan. We're only looking at, and when I say we, it's really, I'm not part of it, it is the committee that will be looking at the story about your loan. So the requirements to be able to be eligible is that the loan fund, you have to be the business has to be at least 50% owned by somebody who identifies as BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, Person of Color. Businesses must be located in Southern Arizona. We are a local economic development nonprofit, and so we focus sort of regionally, Pima County and Southern Arizona. Businesses can be in any stage, including startups. You are required to complete a two-part application. We're saying this because we've had some issues with people completing one part of the application, but not the second part. So there are really two parts to this application. Again, Aristema will go over that, but I want to reinforce it. You have to complete an application. It's an online application. You are allowed to do it via video, via audio, or text. And when we say text, that's sort of, you know, what you're normally doing for loan applications, in writing, submission of everything that's in writing. But you, if that's, you know, that's not how you tell your story the best, we're giving as many options as we can. And honestly, an alternative way, if you want to sing your application to us, you can do that. The idea is to make this as comfortable for you, and so that you can put your best foot forward. So whichever of those three ways works for you best to tell your story, then that's the way that we want you to do that. So this is, again, a revolving loan fund. It means every dollar we pay goes to the next loan and the next entrepreneur. Applications are now open all year around. We are basically reviewing one time per month. The committee has to get together. They review all the applications, and up to, it's either 3 or 4 loans per month will be approved and awarded. And again, to reiterate, we're getting about 20 applications a month, 15 to 20. So if you don't get it in 1 month, it doesn't mean that you're not ever eligible again. It just means that you, of the loan applications we looked at, yours may not have been the most resonant in that month. They may not have struck the committee, and you'll have a chance to reapply. I think you're allowed to apply twice every 6 months. And so you can, you know, even talk to us about, how do I improve my story? How do I improve my application? So after you are actually approved for funding, then we get into some of the requirements. And this is, again, what's different. A bank will ask for everything up front. You have to do all that work, get all your financials together, all those things. And then they're like, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. We basically are looking for your story first. And then after you've been approved and know that the money is there for you, then we start working with you on some of the financial requirements. So things, if you don't have, it's okay. We will help you do this. But by the end of the process, before you actually get the money, you will have to have or open a business bank account. You can't be co-mingling your business money with your personal accounts, and we can help you do that. You'll have to register your business with the Arizona Corporation Commission if you're not already registered. You can be a sole proprietor. You don't have to set up an LLC or anything like that, but we will help you do that. You'll have to provide an up-to-date profit and loss statement. That's basically your revenues coming in, the expenses going out on a monthly basis, and a balance sheet. If you don't know what those are, or you don't have them and aren't familiar, then we will actually train you and help you do it. So we're not just going to leave you high and dry and say, sorry, you don't have it, you can't get the loan. So we have trainings about profit and loss statements, about balance sheets. One of the things that we are trying to do is, we do understand, even though banks, we don't think are, we wish they were doing more in this space. Eventually, we want everybody to be able to qualify for a bank loan. That's where there are bigger loans than $10,000, those types of things. Profit and loss statements, balance sheets are just, they're part of that application process. So we want to help prepare you basically, again, to get into the economy that way. Also, afterwards, after you're approved, we will also help you with mentoring if you need it. So anything that's happening in your business, if you're not sure like how to market, or you feel like you need to improve your marketing, we can help you with that. Distribution channels, if you're having issues with supplies, those types of things. We work with Startup Tucson, and we also work with the YWCA Southern Arizona that do business training. Startup Tucson has a lot of classes that can help business owners, not only business owners that are just starting out, but business owners that are trying to grow their business. So you will have support all the way through this as well. We want you to succeed. We're invested in your success. And so we hope you'll take advantage of some of the mentors, people who are successful business owners and have a specific subject matter expertise in different areas of business that will help you out. So we want you to know that that is also available to you. So the program timeline, the applications are open right now, and they are going to be open all the time. Again, funding decisions are made at the beginning of each month. So depending on when it is that you apply, if you apply, say September, we're at the 15th now, basically at the beginning of October, the first week of October, that's when the committee will meet to decide, and you'll hear shortly after that. So it'll be about potentially 30 days from when it is that you apply that you will hear about whether or not you're accepted for a loan. So I'm going to turn this over at this point to Irasema, and she's going to go through specifically the application process. Again, we're really highlighting that it's 2 steps. You have to complete both steps for your application to be considered. So Irasema, I'm going to stop sharing and you can start sharing.
Thank you, Danny. Let's just dive into the application process and what that looks like. This is a 2-step process. The first step is to go to our website and complete the apply for a loan form. You can type BIPOC loan Tucson in the Google search, and this program is the top search result, or you can go to the cictucson.org. So once you're in the CIC webpage, you're going to hover over here where it says what we do. And it's going to come up, it's going to give you a pop-up menu over here where you're going to select BIPOC loan fund from one of those options. Then you're going to end up at this site here. At that point, if you're ready to apply, all you have to do is click the apply loan button. If you are not ready and have questions, you can always click the contact us over here, or you can click need help with the application over here to watch a short video on the application process. Once you click the apply for a loan link, you will complete a form collecting your contact information and the basic information about your business. Once the form is submitted, you will immediately receive an email confirmation with a link to the second step, which is to answer the application questions using the Video Ask platform. This email contains all the information that you're going to need to prepare to record your application. So be sure to read through it. If you don't receive this email, please reach out to us so we can help you. When you're ready to record your application, the link to the video ask is towards the bottom of this email, and you'll see it right here. The second step in the application process is to answer the application question through the Video Ask platform. This technology simulates an in-person conversation and enables you to meet the committee and directly answer their questions. You will have the ability to complete your application via video, voice, or text, or a combination of all 3. Think of this process as a conversation where you're helping the committee see your dream. Don't be afraid to turn on your video. The committee wants to get to know you. As you prepare to record your video, is a copy of all the questions you will be asked. So you'll see that link right over here. Review the questions and think through how you will answer. There's a time limit for each response, so you need to be pretty precise with your answers. As you're thinking through your answers, be sure to provide the committee with enough information that they understand your business, but not so much information that you run out of time and do not answer the question. The second link is the confirmation email. It provides just an overview of the committee and the scoring, how they're scoring the application. And you'll find that link right down here. This is essentially what the committee is looking to understand and what they are using to score each application. You don't have to answer all the questions, but by the end of the application, the committee should understand who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Who's your customer, what you need, what need you're fulfilling with the product or services that you're offering, why you need a loan, and how it will help your business, and what makes you different from the other businesses in Southern Arizona. I'd like to call attention to the use of funds question. This is one of the most important questions and possibly not an easy one to answer. $10,000 seems not to go far, but I encourage you to research what you plan to do and the cost involved so you can tell the committee specifically how you're going to use the funds. What you want to avoid is being too general so that the committee has to make their own assumptions. One important thing is to keep in mind relating to lending is that when someone is making you a loan, they want to make sure that whatever you are planning to do can be completed. A loan is not helpful if the project is never finished. And in that case, it can actually hurt the business because they now have a loan payment and a project that isn't earning them any money. Let me give you an example of this. Say you want to move to a new location. If your answer to say, I'd like to use the funds to move to a new location, hire staff, purchase inventory, and pay for marketing. The committee's first thought is probably that $10,000 is not going to cover all that. It's possibly will, or maybe you have money saved up to cover the difference, but unless you are clear about that, the committee is left to make their own assumptions. If you want to move to a new location, you should be researching the cost anyway. If you haven't, start doing that before you apply. That will, you want to know what will it cost to rent the space, how much inventory is needed, how much do you need to hire staff, and what marketing will cost you. Once you have all these cost downs, you will know exactly how much you need. If $10,000 will cover that, great. Tell the committee exactly how much each category will cost and make it clear that you've researched this already. You can have a fantastic application, but if your use of funds is not clear, your application will not score as highly. Remember, these are the questions the committee is using to score your application, so your use of funds should answer these for them. It's a little easier to answer these when you have a big to-do like moving to a new location. But say you already have a location but are needing more inventory. Explain how purchasing more inventory will help. Will you be able to take on more contracts? Is inventory constantly back ordered and you're wanting to purchase more so that you don't experience delays? Do you get a discount for purchasing in bulk? Providing these details will help your application score much higher. Our goal is to raise $1 million for this fund, and we are 1/3 of the way there. As of right now, we're receiving 15 to 20 applications per month and are approving 3 to 4, so the process is competitive. You want your application to stand out to have the best chance of being funded. Be sure to review the materials ahead of time and spend some time working on your use of funds. We at CSC are happy to help you with any piece of your application. Whether you would like some help thinking through your questions or working on your use of funds, or you need a quiet place to record your application, please reach out. A couple other general items that I want to go over. Businesses are only eligible for funding once. Funds may not be used to pay off other loans. You may apply every 6 months if you are not selected for funding. I'm sorry, once every 6 months. And lastly, if you're not selected for funding and still are in needs of funds, CIC and other community partners have other loan options. And I'd like to say thank you to our founding partners who helped us raise over $300,000 for this fund to date. Any questions? If you should have any questions at any point in time during the application process, please feel free to reach out to myself if you have any program questions or need assistance preparing your application. I am always available to help. The slide here has my phone number and my email address. But if you're looking for assistance with the technology platforms, then please reach out to Mariela Carranza, and her contact information is up here as well. Thank you.
All right. So I think that concludes our presentation, but this is generally the fun part is if anybody has questions about what we're doing, a couple clarifications, and this occasionally happens when you have me hop in. I said that you could apply twice every 2 months. I want to clarify only once, as Irasema said, sorry, every 6 months. I said twice every 6 months. So you'll be able to apply once every 6 months. We do actually have a process currently where if you have a highly competitive one, but we're beaten out by others, we may actually just push it into the next month. And so it doesn't count against you, but we will let you know if that happens. So you wouldn't have to reapply per se. But that we're doing that just again because we're getting a lot of applications relative to the amount of money that we're able to approve. So if you would like to ask questions, you can both unmute yourself and ask it, and or if you want to put it into the chat, we'll have somebody looking at the chat to help answer questions for you. So we're going to open it up at this time. Wow, this is going to be amazing. This will be the first time ever that we presented. It did not have a question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a possibility of having consultation to meet with someone to have a discussion about the story and to make decisions on the correct word to continue the process? So someone to talk even before the application.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime you want to come and like to talk to us, it's either us, CIC, and depending on your needs, we can also have you talk with people from Startup Tucson. Again, what we are here for is really for your success, and that includes even those who we don't approve for a loan. If you have a business idea, we'd like to support you in any way we can. There are a lot of people in this community that are supporting businesses. Our local economy is really important. So absolutely, you would just call either Irasema. I think Irasema is the person probably if you want to talk through your story. And again, we'll make sure to find somebody that can help you out and help. You know, if you need help sort of designing that story, we're happy to help you do that.
Right, thank you. And I wanted to appreciate the beginning of your presentation of all the facts that it's even hard to even mention and believe how much discrimination is still going on. That it's unbelievable what we need to go through to be able to try to succeed. So thank you very much for everyone's work there.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate that.
I have a quick question, Danny.
Yep.
I got a little confused with the incorporation. Is incorporation a requirement?
You have to have a business, and you have to register it with the Arizona Corporation Committee. So that is required. You have to register your business. You have to be basically for us. We work in the formalized economy. For right or for wrong, has to do with how we were created and where some of our funding comes from. So you would have to create, again, a sole proprietorship, and then you don't have to become a corporation, but you have to register your business with the Arizona Corporation Commission.
So if you register like a DBA, that's enough?
Caroline, you deal with this more on a daily basis. Sorry.
Yeah, Martine, yes. So a DBA is sufficient as long as if it's an individual, if it's a sole proprietor doing business as, and they need to register the trade name so that we can see. And there would need to be a separate bank account as well for that specific doing business as.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if people don't know Martine, he works with Growth Partners Arizona, who's also an alternative lender. They do Kiva loans, which are 0% crowd-funded loans. It's a really cool thing. So I'll give you a little shout out there, Martine. That's another potential direction that you could go if you didn't get this loan. Martine's a good guy to talk to.
Yeah, we have a specialist for Kiva loans. So if any of you feel that Kiva would be a good option, I can direct you with our specialist in Kiva. Absolutely.
Awesome. Caroline, I'm getting some of them. There was a question about credit checks. If I'm missing any that are coming through, we do not do credit checks. It's actually one of the issues. We have issues with credit checks with banks. We occasionally will check your history, but we don't use it at all to make any decisions about any of the lending that we do. So just so you know that. Is there other stuff, Caroline, that I've missed? I know there's a question about will we send out the PowerPoint? We will. Obviously, we went through it, relatively quickly, but we'll send it out for your reference as well. Everybody who's on this call. Other things, Caroline, that were there?
It looks like there was a question about a business being registered in another state. That's fine. The ultimate goal is that the business needs to be registered. So it needs to be formally established as an LLC, a corporation, a partnership, a sole proprietorship, and registered with a state. Sometimes we work in Arizona, so most businesses are registered here if a business started in a different state, or sometimes businesses choose to register to incorporate in different states for different reasons, and that's fine. We would just need to be able to confirm your registration. So if you have a specific question, reach out and we can work through that with you and let you know if any additional documentation is required.
Yeah, the business does need to be located though in doing business in Pima County and Southern Arizona. So if you're from Texas and you have some customers here in Pima County, that's not gonna qualify. Your primary business has to be done in our local region.
I have one more question, if you allow me.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if you guys have a system in place or are planning to have a system in place to follow up after certain time, let's say 6 months, 1 year, or any amount of time, and see how the business is doing. Is there something about that?
Yes. Normally within our loan documents, just so people do understand, is we have some covenants about providing us on some ongoing data. So we will be reaching out. It's really important to us to find out how businesses are doing after we give you a loan for multiple reasons. One, we hope that you guys are crushing it. I mean, that's really what we want. Secondarily, and we hope you understand, as a nonprofit, we, in many ways, we have to depend on the generosity of others. That includes through grants or through individual donations or corporate donations. Telling the story, telling the success stories is really a big part of that. So we will follow up with you. We have done and we do evaluations of our whole loan portfolio every 2 years. So if you want to look forward to something, I can tell you some data that we have. Our most recent evaluation showed that 85% of the businesses that we gave these types of loans to showed an increase in their gross revenue. And that increase was 129%, so more than double. And that's over a 2.5 year period. So that type of information and realizing that these small loans can do incredible amounts for people in growing their businesses, helping them get started, and increasing their revenues. Those are the types of stories that we tell to the funders, so that hopefully they'll continue to invest in this kind of work.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And it looks like there's a question in the chat about how repayments are calculated and how quickly they start. Irsima, do you want to cover that?
Yes, I can definitely cover that. So the payments are basically calculated. I mean, we can go out, since there's no interest, it's pretty easy to calculate the payment. But it could be anywhere, the repayment plan is anywhere from a year up to 5 years. And it depends on the amount, obviously, of the loan that you're approved for. And then usually the payments start a month from the time that you sign the loan documents.
So basically, if you wound up with a 3-year term, that's 36 months, you would take the amount that you got in the loan. If it was $10,000, you would divide that by 36, and that would be your monthly payment for this. What we do look at in determining how long the loan goes out is what it is that you can afford. So the idea of looking at how much revenue that you have coming in. So a place that maybe is a little bit smaller, not generating as much revenue, we might stretch the term out a little bit longer. And with places that are pretty healthy, have good revenue streams already, you might have a shorter term. But the whole idea is for us to make it affordable for you, make sure that you can make those payments. Any other questions while you guys have us here? Okay. Well, I want to once again thank everybody for coming to this information session. We are really, as I said, oh, there's a question about what is a crowdfund loan. Okay, a crowdfunded loan is sort of if you think about why am I going to forget the name of the obvious? What's the crowdfunding that people do for, like, Caroline, help me out.
GoFundMe.
Okay, like GoFundMe. So the idea is, and this is what Kiva does, and Martine. What it is that basically there are people who are willing to lend their own money, small little amounts of money to you. And with Kiva, it's as little as $25 from any individual lender. I'm actually somebody who loans on Kiva, so I have a certain amount of money on there, and as it gets repaid, I then re-lend it out to other people who need it. So it's basically online where people are funding your loan for you. With Kiva, to get up onto their website, there are a few things that you have to do ahead of time, including asking some of your own people in your network to loan $25 first. You have to get a group of people to loan $25, and then they'll put you up on their platform. And worldwide, I think it's over 2 million lenders. So individuals, again, like me who are on the platform who decide on loaning whether they want to invest in your business. And really, it's just a group of people who see the need for low interest capital. Kiva, one of the things that it does incredibly well is it lends to women, it lends to people of color all over the world. Their data is much better in terms of that equity than traditional banks and loans. There's a little work to it. You gotta kind of get out there and tell your story a little bit, but it's a great resource. CIC, we actually helped Growth Partners started, so we are big fans of the Kiva loan and see it as a really good resource.
And if anyone is interested in learning more about Kiva, I just dropped the contact information in the chat.